Well, it's a cold, wet, rainy. I don't know why everybody says wet and rainy. I say it too. If it's rainy, you know it's wet. So I don't know why we have to repeat the word, but that's just standard English language, I guess. And I'd really like to make another video in front of the wood stove. The problem is at these temperatures, you never really know when you're going to light it again. I always light it in the morning when I get up. But sometimes it's at 1 o'clock if it's a little breezy out. But if it's like today and there's no wind, it could be as late as 5 or 6 o'clock, and then it's just too dark to make a video. So here I'm out in the rain, wet and rainy, to make a video. So as you know, I like to analyze human negative behavior. Of course, I don't get to interact a lot with people anymore because I've deliberately gotten away from people because of their human behavior. So the only thing I really have to reference is the comment section, Facebook, and listen to people. Now, you know that my channel is absolutely riddled with trolls. I guess a lot of channels deal with it, but I sure don't see it in the comment section. Mine is just a non-stop. I mean, I've got, how do I explain this? YouTube has blocked a lot of my commenters because, well, years ago I got a bunch of death threats. I think I counted, it was like 50. That's what I told YouTube, it was 50. Got some death threats, so I reported them all, one after another after another. Well, YouTube immediately restricted me from being able to do live feeds, and I've never heard of anybody else being restricted from doing live feeds, but I was. Now, maybe there's a policy that they violated that they can't do live feeds, or now that kind of stuff I've heard, but not from the comment section. I've never heard that, but they did. And the other thing is they restricted people from being able to comment in my comment section, and I have tied it very clearly to people who have commented on troll channels. There is a direct connection. If there has been a commenter who has commented in a troll channel, then when you come over to my channel, they delete that user from my channel. They block that user from my channel. I've made that connection, and I've actually tested it. I made up a fake account, commented on a troll channel, came back over to comment on my channel, and then went back and checked my comments to see if it was still there, and it was gone. It wasn't in the hold for review area or anything. It was just gone. So I know it happens. So like I said, my channel is, I really feel like, has been beaten pretty bad. And it is what it is, but it also has gotten me to understand the human condition a lot more. And I've made fun of them a lot in the past. And one of the things they'll do, I mean, well, I guess I could just elaborate. People will try to hunt me down. I've had people show up to this property. I've had people, well, I don't want to explain it all, because the last time I did that, people actually just repeated what I said. They just did what I said in the video. So maybe it's not a good idea that I say it again just to give people ideas. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I should do that. I mean, you show up here, that's just a bad day for you. I mean, and I'll make sure that everybody remembers what I say. I mean, I'm really looking forward to using the pepper spray. And since I can remove people legally off of my property with physical force without injury, I can't injure anybody, but I can remove people with physical force if I say you're trespassing. So I have a no trespassing sign, and then I say you're trespassing, and if you continue to walk on down, then I get to use this, which I'm really excited about using. I think that'd be a great day. Watch a grown man crying because he thought he was going to come over and bully me. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? I mean, just think about it. How wonderful would that be for anybody? Come over and you're going to get bullied by this guy. Hey, punk, you're on YouTube. And then watch him collapse and cry. So anyway, so that's my reaction to if you show up. I've said it many times. Of course, people will try to trick me and show up. I had one guy show up, well, an actual man and woman show up, and they brought me a piece of equipment to work on. So I just assumed it was a customer, but it wasn't. It was a YouTube person traveling from out of state. So I just, I mean, I try to be polite to that couple. They seem to be nice, but I don't understand this mentality. I don't want to be around people. Too bad. We're coming over anyways because you're on YouTube and that makes you famous. No, it doesn't. It makes me a citizen that makes YouTube videos for a living. And I disagree with it. You're a public figure. I mean, I don't even know what that means. You're a public figure. You're not, I mean, Ben Affleck. Let's talk about Ben Affleck. Never once have I ever been to Ben Affleck's house and expect him to buy me a beer because he's a public figure. Actually, I figure, here's what I think. When he goes and makes a movie, he goes in and spends his 9 to 5 making the movie. And then he's got to go out and do the nice thing in public relations. And I understand that. So he goes out to events, like a meet and greet. You know, YouTubers do that all the time, do a meet and greet. And they go out to events and do a meet and greet. Oh, I'm sure it's miserable. Having to shake hands with millions of people. And they all think they know you personally. But he does. I don't know why I picked Ben Affleck, but you get the idea. It was just a name was top of my head. So, so they do the meet and greet. So there's another 9 to 5 job. You know, you gotta go do that. And then he's gotta go do the public relations and go to all the media and talk about the great movie. But then when he goes home at night, guess what? That's his home. You don't get to go over to his home. Of course, he's got, you know, large amounts of security to make sure that you don't go to his home, and so do I. I got large amounts of security that's going to be really fun to watch you cry. I just think it's just going to be a great day. Just like I'm sure Ben Affleck thinks it's really funny when you go over to his house and his security guards are ripping you up by your hair, pulling you off the property. So I bet he's in that window just laughing. Oh, can you imagine? That's hilarious. So, no, your definition of public figure is actually illegal. Your definition of public figure, being able to go wherever you want, show up the guy's house, hey, let's have a beer, and you know, all that is harassment. It's illegal. You're not allowed to do it. But it's always easy to identify the trolls. I guess is where I was trying to go with this on YouTube. And they try to disguise themselves. I mean, there's those ones that are blatantly obvious. You're an idiot. And they spell you're wrong, and they spell A-N wrong. And usually they spell idiot wrong. So, you know, those are the blatantly obvious trolls. They're just trying to get you to get mad. They're trying to get under your skin. But the ones that I find most fascinating are the ones who are trolls. And I looked this up today, so I know that is an actual troll. But they try to pretend that they're smarter than you. And they really are sincere in their posts. I mean, absolutely sincere. So, 2 days ago I made a video, and I was talking about my batteries. Lead acid batteries. I've got 8 of them. I've had them for 9 years. I've had to replace 2, and I think one of them was definitely my fault, and the other one was probably my fault. So, you know, they're lasting a long time. I'm never going to use lithium ion because I'm just not a fan of it. They're too expensive. Even, you know, $100 for a battery that lasts 9 years and they're still in good shape. You know, they may last another 9 years, who knows? So, even if I wanted to replace it, all of them, you know, it's going to cost me $100 a piece. Whereas if I had to replace it with a lithium ion battery, it's going to cost me a couple $1,000. And so, I feel like, over the years, my experience, which is what I said in the video, far outweighs the critics. Even if you use lithium ion. I don't care if you do. Glad you're happy with them. I'm just not going to use them. I just don't want to. For all the reasons that I've ever listed. And I shouldn't have to make excuses about it. Well, of course, today I get a video. Today I get a comment. I've had lead acid batteries for 12 years. Now, I said my batteries are still holding the charge. During the summertime, 12.6, 12.7 volts when they're charged. That's great. That's fully charged. That's where they're supposed to be. And in the wintertime, that number's a little skewed. I said that in the wintertime, the battery shows 12.3, usually at fully charged. And I proved it last night. Went down there, it was at 12.3. I went ahead and charged up the battery just to be safe. And the charger only had to run for an hour and shut off. And which means the batteries were basically charged. It was just filling in a little bit of a gap. So anyway, I just proved to myself what I said in the video was still true. Well, I've had batteries for 12 years, lead acid batteries, and now they're down to 11.8 volts and they won't get above that. Well, I don't believe that, but okay, assuming you're right. I mean, if you're at 11.8 volts, you're not using them anymore. They're not capable of being used. So he says, I just bought myself some lithium-ion batteries, and I haven't installed them yet. But I am certain that I'm going to get more bang for my buck from the solar panels because there'll be less resistance to charging, which is true. There's less resistance, but on the other hand, it really doesn't make much difference. When your batteries charge up in 3 hours, and that's all you need, no matter what the state of charge is, the resistance doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess if you're talking about, you know, hundreds of thousands of watts or tens of thousands of watts, maybe that makes a difference. But when you're talking about 2,000 watts and you're running a freezer, it just doesn't make any difference how long it takes to charge. If you can get 3 hours worth of sun, you're in good shape. What I think he's trying to say is on a cloudy day or partially cloudy day. So to me, it really doesn't matter, because you don't get these partially cloudy days where I can't get a charge. It's either cloudy where you don't get a charge, or sunny, or partly sunny. As long as you get 3 hours of sun, accumulative full sun, so even if it's a partly cloudy day and it's 6 or 8 hours of partly, you're still going to get the equivalent of a sunny day in 3 hours. So again, I don't think that makes a huge difference. So he says he's replaced it with two lithium-ion batteries, which means he doesn't have a huge system. And I'm not sure he told me how many watts he had. I don't think he did. So anyway, the batteries, it just means he probably has 200 amps of batteries is what I'm guessing. He didn't say. Whereas I have 800 amps. Now, I recognize mine has diminished over the years, but you know, 800 or 100 amp battery. Now, that being said, lead acid batteries do have a 50%. So instead of being 100 amp, it's actually 50 amps. But it doesn't matter. My point is I'm happy with it. Of course, when I looked at it, the post was 18 minutes old, and it already had a thumbs up. Well, I don't get that kind of views, not the next day. You know, I'm getting like 1 or 2 views, 10 views an hour, 15 views an hour, and you know, the next morning. So when he posted it, you know, I had like 5 views. That means that within the 18 minutes, he posted it, and someone, the next 4 views, somebody gave it a thumbs up. It just doesn't happen. So he thumbed up his own post, clearly meaning that he wanted to show everybody who read it he was smarter than me. This is a very typical trend that happens on YouTube channels, where you get somebody who's got more experience, better equipment, they know more. I looked it up today, and this is just a common tactic that trolls use to try to diminish the YouTuber and make themselves feel smarter, even though they have no idea what they're talking about. They literally Googled it. The 11.8. If he was smart enough to know about the system, he would recognize that you can't run on 11.8. Now, he says he's got new lithium-ion batteries, but he hasn't installed them yet. Well, what are you waiting for? Your batteries aren't working. They're dead. They're no longer working. Your inverter will not turn on at 11.8. So what are you using for electric? You're not. So that was a lie. It's a lie. It's just that it's not going to work. Now, I did say in that video mine can get down to 11.5, which is probably what confused him. It can get down to 11.5, but the freezer has to be on and it has to be really cold. The inverter is reading it wrong. Or actually, the inverter is reading it correctly. The meter is reading it wrong. He trapped himself. And they always give me a clue as to that they're making up the information. I just find it, the human experience is just incredibly ridiculous. They got to get attention. They lie to get the attention, and then they mess up in the lie. Then if you call them out, they'll tell you, you don't know what you're talking about. It's amazing. So if you'll click this up next box, take the video over to my other channel. I'd really appreciate it. Go check it out. So if I can inspire you, I don't know, try to, well, you're not going to understand, people. So you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.